Hello, Vlogalogue. I've come out here to my favorite vlogging spot in the middle of this field, and the nice, good old vlogging tree. I don't have a terrible amount of time today, so we're gonna do away with the jump cuts and just try to ramble for a little bit, use up 5 or so minutes of your time. And it's ironic that I don't have a lot of time when I'm talking about the pace of my life, which I feel is very similar to Kevin's. It's right now. My life goes in 7-week sprints, so I'm like, I work for 7 weeks, and then I have like a week off, and then I work for 7 weeks, and I have like a month off, and then I work for 7 weeks, and then I have a week off, and then I work for 7 weeks, and then I have 4 months off. And then, you know, the 4 months off is, of course, summer, and theoretically I'd have a job and stuff to do like that. And I very well might. I have pending applications and things like that. But right now I'm in the middle of probably the most intense 7 weeks of classes I have ever had, which is unfortunately why I had to shut down my own daily vlog for the time being. But yeah, needless to say, I'm very busy a lot, and I constantly have something to do. And I hate that feeling. I hate the feeling of always having, like, I could be doing this right now, I could be doing this right now, instead of doing this, which I want to be doing. And so, like, when I go to the movies, I'm like, oh, I could be home writing that history paper that's going to be due, because if I do a really good job, I could win a scholarship and have even less debt. But no, I want to go see Captain America. So I do. And then I just hate the feeling of there's always something more productive I could be doing, which is inherent in these 7 weeks. But I'm never bored. And part of the reason I'm never bored is I was raised that like, boredom was not a word we should be using. If I ever said, like, Mom, I'm bored, it was pretty much like, okay, here are some chores you can do, so that way you have something to do. So I was very quickly taught not to say I'm bored, and to find things to do and to find things to occupy my time. When it comes to, like, vegging out, and, like, Kevin talked about television, and, like, I don't know, sometimes I'm always multitasking. There's very little television that I will watch without multitasking. Things like Doctor Who and Sherlock, and, like, are pretty much the only shows I will watch without It used to be Breaking Bad. I would turn on Breaking Bad and watch that, and just be like, yeah, I'm just going to sit down and enjoy this and not be doing anything else at the time. Like, the things that I do, I don't know, I just surf the web, and I get stuck in, like, browsing loops sometimes when I'm watching television. Like, I'll be trying to do something productive, like, I don't know, write code or something for homework, or if it's an off week, one of my side projects, just hobbies or something, like looking at Arduino specs and trying to figure out what cool little things I could buy or do stuff like that. But I'll get stuck in these, like, browsing loops sometimes where I'll be like, okay, let's check Twitter. Oh, okay, nothing new on Twitter. Okay, let's check Reddit. Oh, nothing interesting on Reddit. Okay, let's check Twitter. And I get, like, stuck in a loop of, like, 2 or 3 websites, and I'm just going around and around. And I guess that's the closest thing I get to bored, is when I get stuck in one of those loops for, like, a half an hour. That's just, like, a totally wasted half an hour where nothing was accomplished and my brain was just kind of, like, dead. I guess that would be my definition of boredom. I don't know. It's interesting during these 7-week blocks, because I hate the feeling, and I know I mentioned this a little bit, and I'm going in a browsing loop, of always having something to do. And so sometimes there are days when I very purposefully do nothing. Like, I will sleep all day. Like, I'll wake up and I'll be like, no, I'm going back to sleep. And I will inevitably be able to fall back asleep. Or I'll just read something, like a book I've already read, something that doesn't take mental, like, ooh, I wonder what's going to happen next. No, I know what's going to happen next. I've already read this book. I may have read this book a few times. And I will just take a mental health day sometimes when I can, when my schedule permits me to, and I feel like I haven't had one in a while. And I find those to be really, really helpful for, like, resetting my brain, and, like, I find myself more creative in the days after and more, like, willing to focus and stuff like that. I find them exceptionally helpful. I may take too many of them during the summer if I don't have something else I should be doing. Like, I could have, like, mental health weeks, and I get absolutely nothing done, and then it starts to feel wasteful. When I do it just, like, during vacation or something like that, it's great. I don't know. I have a feeling that I will be very busy for a large portion of my life, and I think it's good that I know how to turn my brain off sometimes. And just be like, nope, not gonna think about anything right now. It's very, I find that to be something that is probably a good thing. It might be a bad thing, but it's good for trying to reboot creativity and focusness. I was actually diagnosed with, well, I was never diagnosed with it. My first grade teacher thought I had ADHD, and I might have a very mild case of it. We very specifically never brought it up with, like, anyone, because it was such mild case of it. Sorry, I got distracted. Anyway, it was a mild case of it, and we just didn't think it was a good idea to, like, because we were afraid. I don't know, my parents were afraid, and maybe they instilled it in me, and it's never really affected me, like in school and stuff like that. I haven't always done well in school, but it's not to the point where I have no idea where I'm going with this right now. Oh boy. Anyway, I potentially, that could be one of the reasons why I don't get bored, is how do you get bored when you're being distracted by things a lot? But it's not so severe that I actually really have it. It's just different. I don't know. See, this is what happens when I just talk to a camera. I lose my entire train of thought. Normally things like that would have been edited out, but I'm going to leave them in because I have to go to a meeting that could potentially last till tomorrow morning again, because I'm very busy. Which brings us full circle. I am extremely busy. I will probably go have a very, very long meeting, which will get lots of things accomplished, and I have lots of fun doing, but it means I have no time, and that's my life right now. Very busy, quite productive, never bored. I will see you guys in a week. Have fun. Bye.